Hi friends, Starry, and this is going to be another walk and talk. Just sharing some of the things that I am doing to rebuild my life as a single female on the grid now. But one of the things that I haven't really talked about yet is finances. And, I think it's an important subject because, we're all looking to hopefully get out of debt or stay out of debt or be debt free. We're all worried, of course. We worry about our finances, our future, retirement. We've got kids, say some of them are off in college or you're looking at college, or maybe you're starting over, you lost your job, your finances are changing. Finances can be such a fickle thing in our lives. They can change at a blink of an eye, no matter how well you prepare. You can have all your money in the stock market, and the stock market has crashed before. I am going to talk about what I am doing as a single divorced woman right now to get back on track, and perhaps this will help you also, because we all struggle. Number one, credit cards. Now, where do credit cards come in rebuilding my financial freedom? Where does credit cards come into helping me financially? Well, what I have learned throughout the years is that paying things in cash, which I thought was a smart idea, doesn't pay me anything back. It gets it paid, but if I'm going to get something paid, and I know I'm going to pay it because I have the cash to do it, why not use a credit card that will pay me back for that purchase? There's several cards out there right now that will do that. So some cards say if you spend $1,000 or whatever, every purchase, they'll give you 1% back, or they'll give you points so you can redeem them in cash, or you can redeem them on Amazon. There's just so many. So go on a credit card search. I not only have I been using my Amazon card, which racks up points, which I cash in for cash, and then I'll get a $50 check here and there. I mean, I tell you what, that's $50 applied to all those purchases that I just got back. There's also, and I didn't know this until a couple months ago, and I got divorced, and I really started looking at ways where I could make money from whatever money I had without putting it at risk. There are credit cards now that offer incentives, like if you spend, say, $500 or maybe $1,000 in the next 90 days, we're going to give you $300 back. Oh, yeah. So I found a lot of those deals. Now, I will warn you, you can only open up so many credit cards before they start saying, you can't open up any more. And I can understand that because they get very leery, the credit card companies. I had one credit card company reject me because they said I had too many credit cards open. So you open them up, you make your purchases, and then you get the cash back. And then what I do is and I'm just starting to do this, after 3 months of using that credit card, then I will cancel it because I only need it for the cashback purposes. Like right now I have a TD Ameritrade credit card that has a $300 cash back within 90 days. If I spend $1,000, they'll give me $300 back. Well, I will do that because I'll use it for every purchase, groceries, gas, whatever, and then I will close that account. So that way I keep my credit rating up and I get the bonus money. Here's another tip that Mr. C actually told me. I don't know if you remember the story, and maybe you don't, maybe you've never read the Bible, but here's a quick story for you. There were 3 servants and a master, and the master gave the 3 servants it was tallions, I guess. I don't know what they call it back in those days, but let's just say a substantial amount of money each servant got. And the master went away, and when he came back, he wanted to see what the servants had done with the money. The one servant had tripled the money, or quadrupled it, did a good job. So the master rewarded him for that. He said, "Well done, servant, awesome. This is what I wanted you to do." The other one doubled it, not as much, but the master was so happy about that. And then he asked the third one, and the third one said, "Well, I didn't do anything with it, I buried it." And the master was very upset. He's like, "Here I gave you the opportunity to do something worthy with that money, to make something out of that money, and you buried it." And the master was very upset. Well, the moral of the story is, like for me and my faith, God wants us to do something with our finances. The money does belong to Him, but He doesn't want us to bury the money. He doesn't want us to store it away in a safe deposit box or put it underneath our bed. So that really helped me look at things differently with my finances, to be a little bit smarter and to not take whatever I had and just put it in a safe deposit box. The first thing Mr. C told me, that if you have any money, you need to put it in a credit union. That's what I did. A regular bank will not pay you anything. In fact, regular banks are filled with fees and they're not user friendly. A credit union is member friendly. They have money markets that, even if it's 0.45% on your money back or 0.25%, that's not what the bank's paying you. They have CDs and programs and member benefits. And as soon as I put whatever I had in my bank account into the credit union, I already immediately started getting interest, like $9, $10, $12, whatever it is. That's something that I didn't have before, that the bank never gave me. And I thought, what was I doing keeping my money in the bank? And the same thing, what do you do with your money in the safe deposit box? Now, granted, I understand that we should have cash on hand. Should always have cash on hand. There's nothing wrong with keeping it on hand, putting it in a safe deposit box. I believe in that also, because I think, just like with the stock market, it's very fickle, it can be very risky, and you can't put all your eggs in one basket. But again, I don't think it's wise to put all your eggs in the cash basket either. You need to be well diversified. The other thing that is also good advice that came from Daryl is opening up either a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. Now, I think there's more benefit in a Roth IRA. Do your own research, but if you do work for a living, take advantage of your work's retirement plan, but also put away in those instruments because the tax benefit. When I had to pay taxes this year, I filed jointly because we were married up until March, April. The divorce was final, I think, this May. But next year I have to file separately. My taxes are going to increase. Because that changes my financial situation tax-wise, it's not going to be a benefit for me. I have to prepare myself now for taxes. It's crazy. Death and taxes you can't get away from. If you don't understand taxes, go and call an accountant. There's free legal advice in almost every city that will help you with your taxes and asking those questions. But taxes are real, they don't go away, and when you become single, you become a single filer and you get hit much harder. And it doesn't make any difference how much you make or how little you make, you are going to get hit harder. Now, those are just some of the top things that I've done to give me a little bit of financial muscle. And there's a lot. Of course, always when you make your purchases, make sure you shop around. You try to get the best bang for your money. If I can't afford it, I don't buy it. Obviously, I shop at the Mennonite store. If there's Amish, there's farmer's market. I try to grow my own food. I try to go to the dump as much as I can. Of course, frugal living goes a long way, but we're really talking about money and its instruments and its tools. I don't want to give too much advice on investing. My husband and I, we used to invest heavily. I was the one that learned all about the financial instruments. I learned all about gold and silver and metals and stocks and short sales. And I became a day trader for quite a while. And margin accounts, you name it, I know how to do all of that. I empowered myself richly with knowledge. And I know the stock market like the back of my hand. Now, is that something you should be in? Should you buy bonds? Should you buy CDs? That's going to have to be a personal choice. But what I will say is, again, be well diversified. And it doesn't make any difference if you have $1,000, $15,000, $30,000, or $100,000. Okay? Just be well diversified. Because God wants us to be financially free and not enslaved to anybody. Pay unto Caesar what is due to Caesar, and then the rest, we should be caretakers of the money that we have. And one last thing, just simply because this is my faith, I do believe that God gives to us generously, and it all belongs to Him. What I have is not mine. And when it comes to tithing, I don't like using the word tithe because there's so much underlying bureaucracy and like it's the law, and I don't think that's what Jesus wants. I think He wants us to give liberally, just like God gives liberally, and just like everything does belong to Him. So when I give, and when you give, if you are a believer, I look at the tithe and they say 10%, but it shouldn't just be 10%. It should be over and above if we can. And I don't think there should be ever a feeling of obligation. I think the feeling should be from, I am giving because God gives to me and I want to be generous. And that's why I try not to use the word tithing, because it ties us into legalism and it makes us feel guilty. And that's not what our giving is supposed to do. We should be happy to give whatever we can, whenever we can, and whenever God calls us to. I am living proof of the generosity of people, all people, and how they have given to me. And that is from the Lord. The Lord will be your resource. And in my darkest moment, I go from, you could lose everything to gaining everything. And that's how God works. And He does that also financially. So cling to that hope and remember, He will provide, but we also have to be generous in everything that we do have because it does belong to Him. Okay, that's my financial talk for today. I hope it helped. And we need to prepare ourselves. Remember the ant. Do not be a sluggard. Be fiscally responsible with your money and try for the goal of being debt-free. Because even the Bible talks about enslavement with debt. And that's not what God wants for His children. God bless.